This place is very different from the rest of America. You're in the epicenter of where all of our madness took place. This street right here used to be the most violent street in South Memphis.
Did law enforcement just avoid this zone back in the day?
You don't just get addicted to the dope. You get addicted to the chaos, you get addicted to the insanity, you get addicted to the excitement.
Midday like today, bullets aren't flying.
Oh, they are. Just being a civilian in Memphis is twice as deadly as fighting in combat. I don't see the politicians that are out here clamoring for everybody's vote and claiming to have done so much for the hood actually showing up out here to do shit. I don't.
There is a sense of humility in this city that I've never seen anywhere else.
Racia. Pulled pork sandwich, barbecue nachos, and that's a little bit of everything, huh?
A little bit of everything.
It's a very difficult cycle to get out of, and I can say that because I've been stuck in it myself. That's the Memphis story, man. This is the Tennessee home for the incurables. I think it opened in like 1906, and it was a place for people with terminal illnesses like tuberculosis, quadriplegics, yellow fever, like all sorts of stuff that used to kill everybody. They would end up here. This building is almost like a metaphor for Memphis. You know, you got something here, the bones are great. Like you can see this place has a ton of potential. It's just been neglected and fallen into disrepair for, 25 years now.
So we're gonna get into it today. Your guys' stories, you were on the streets, deep in the drugs, came out, and now are getting people off the streets who are deep in the drugs.
Bingo, and our story started right around here. Like you're in the epicenter of where all of our madness took place. In fact, we probably both should have died on the street right next door. But Jess and I, the whole time we were out here, we had this foxhole prayer that if God would get us out of hell together, we'd come back for everybody we left. And so when we came back to Memphis, we came right back here, and this is where it all started. It's taken over by squatters and the criminal element, lost people. You don't just get addicted to the dope. You get addicted to the chaos. You get addicted to the insanity. You get addicted to the excitement. And so what I see end up happening a lot is people get clean. They'll go get a job. They get back in their kids' lives. They're rebuilding, and there's no excitement.
Right.
We've baked chaos into what we do. That's why we're out here on the dope track. It's not just because this is where the addicts are, it's because this is where I love to be. And I think for most addicts, we miss the unpredictability, the uncertainty that happens out here, but we still want to stay clean. So if you can find a way to bring people out of addiction, get them into recovery, and then put them right back in the damn hood, you check that chaos box,
Totally makes sense. On Skid Row, a lot of those guys out there, they can get the housing if they want to, but you got to play by the rules.
Yeah.
And a guy told me, I love the adventure of it.
Yeah,
the
100%,
the adrenaline of it. And if you're going into, say, normie society, like living in the burbs, 9 to 5, driving a commute every day from the adventure.
Yeah.
That stuff. I get the adventure out of making these videos.
Right. And we still get to be in the
it.
thick of it. We had a couple of Green Berets from Fort Campbell over here 3-4 weeks ago, and we had a random gunshot like on one of our blocks. Yeah, okay. This combat medic Green Beret dude ends up getting to treat a gunshot wound right here in his backyard. And stuff like that happens all the time. Like, we see, and I don't want to make it sound like we enjoy when that happens, but that's part of the insanity that keeps us on the right path, I guess.
Gotcha. How long you guys been clean?
7 years. We left the streets almost 7 years ago exactly. In fact, I'm gonna take you over there. My rock bottom happened in 2 places, and one of them was right there. Today we own that house. We own the house next door to it. We've got women and kids housed out here, but that used to be the trap house. In fact, every bit of violence that happened, I would say within a mile radius, maybe more, of that house was fueled by that house. This street right here, which looks like a little quiet hood suburban street, used to be the most violent street in South Memphis. And today, I don't even know the last time I had a violent crime happen there. Pretty much the day we took control of that trap house, the street got calm. Kids are coming outside again.
Okay, for those that don't know, explain a trap house.
Okay, so a trap house is a house where narcotics and women are bought and sold. They're the single source of suffering for any neighborhood in which they exist. Every bit of chaos emanates from the trap. All the criminal activity goes back to the trap. It's basically where the criminal element sets up shop.
Many trap houses still in Memphis?
Oh, tons, yeah. It's gotten a lot better since the Memphis State Task Force came here.
Okay.
You know, they've hit a lot of the more known traps, but the biggest problem you run into out here is lack of economic opportunity. So if I go shut down a trap house, that economic opportunity still exists. It's gonna pop right back up in a different house.
And they're probably just gonna get more secretive and better with it, right?
You would think.
No?
And maybe in a different city, but here in Memphis, not so much, man.
Okay.
They don't change. The names and the addresses change, but the methods, it all stays the same.
Can we get out there?
Oh, absolutely. Back when the street was being run as a dope track, this was the trap house, and this is the one I was just telling you about. That was a rooming house. I used to squat in that one. We've since torn the house down. We just rebuilt that, so that's a brand new house.
Looks good.
Both of these are ours. Hey, how you doing?
My hands are dirty.
Why?
Gardening.
This is Cheyenne.
I'm doing strawberries, kiwis, and potatoes.
Who else home?
Christian, Mama, and Rakaya.
Oh, hell yeah. This was the trap house. Me and Jess have smoked copious amounts of dope in here. I've seen people die in this house. I had a dude put a pistol to my head behind the house and pull the trigger. I don't know why it didn't go off, but like, I had a dude try to shoot me behind this house.
When you say dope, was it fentanyl? Meth?
No, crack and heroin. So this train track right here, there's this one and there's another one right up there. And what used to happen, you see one stopped?
Yeah.
The one that hits Southern stops too. You'll get boxed in between these two. And back in the day when that would happen, that's when things would get real violent out here real quick. Real quick.
No
Because the
way.
cops couldn't, there's nobody, no EMS can't get in. So any beef that needed to get squashed would usually get squashed when these trains are both stopped. This is a scary place to be. It's obviously very different today. This and Woodward were the two worst streets in South Memphis. You're in the 38106 zip code, which historically is one of the most impoverished zip codes in America. Violent crime rate here is through the roof. If you're a young black male living here 2020 to 2023, you're 5 times more likely to die a violent death than a soldier serving in the global war on terror the same years, or actually any year. Your risk of death if you were fighting in combat in Iraq or Afghanistan was about 25 and 100,000. Young black males in this zip code, your risk of death is 130 and 100,000. 5 times more likely to die as a civilian in South Memphis than you are fighting the global war on terror.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's actually, let's remove that from the equation and just say civilian, period. Your risk of death in Memphis to being, murdered is about 55 and 100,000. Just being a civilian in Memphis is twice as deadly as fighting in combat. Hey, try to wrap your mind around that one.
Yeah, so the only ways to get out, is that the story for these kids?
So, you got kids that are growing up on these streets. So a lot of them get put in the game, they call it.
Yep.
Selling dope, a lot of times to help mama put food on the table. They get incarcerated for the first time, usually between ages 12 and 15. And every one of them down to a man will tell you that's what taught them to become a better criminal. What's up, man? How you doing, man? What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
You good today, man?
Yes, sir,
Good
man.
to see you, bro.
Good to see you, man. I'm glad
Hi.
you're back, man.
It's been a minute.
Peter, nice to meet you.
Nice to
How you
meet
doing, man? It's good to see you, dude.
We're making a video, guys.
You've been here, what, 15 years?
I've been here over 30.
Oh, no shit.
Years now.
You've seen a lot here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Whole lot.
40 years of this street, you've seen murders, what?
Yeah, there was one guy, he had just came from the army, got pissed off at us out here and just came out here and just got to shooting at us and everything, man. He was an old guy, though.
Yeah.
He used to be in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
He had one of his legs cut off or something.
He was
Yeah.
in a wheelchair with a gun.
Yeah. He used to wheel himself because, he used to mess with them. He used to mess with the whores that come over. Call girls, they used to come over.
So that house I showed you on the way in used to be a brothel.
They didn't
No way.
That used to be a whorehouse.
So did law enforcement just avoid this zone back in the day? Or were they here?
MPD wouldn't come.
Yeah, they ain't never come. They'll come, but they couldn't find nothing.
They'll come, but they just won't hit the brakes.
Yeah. And it's a dead end, so like they really didn't want to come on the street. They wouldn't even come down here.
They just started getting, they said, goddamn, they ain't want a better bureau and all that. They ain't want to stop and get. They couldn't get none. They couldn't find any drugs or nothing, so they just started taking his equipment.
How long you been sober, man?
7 years.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's a good
7
deal.
years, man. Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Means a lot, bro.
Yeah.
For real though.
And then, cause there's a lot of motherfuckers can't get themselves up.
Nah.
They need a lot of help to get
Yeah.
off of it.
What's the drug situation right now? Getting worse, better, sort of stay worse?
It's worse. Because you got little kids,
Whole area.
13, 14, 15-year-old kids on it.
Yeah, every neighborhood in this surrounding area, man.
Yeah, he been here for a while.
Fentanyl's the main thing or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, fentanyl, they like
crack.
that. And heroin, they can't afford it all up, so they just.
I don't even remember the last time I saw heroin.
50 cents to $1, so at least 50 at a time. If you buying,
You buying in bulk?
You buy in
yeah.
bulk,
yeah,
okay.
it's 50 cents to $1.
So that 50 cent a pill, how much does that sell for on the street?
You can get it for $5 or $10.
Yeah, but
Just like
on
they
the low
sell the
end,
weed.
it's like $2-3 a piece, man.
When fent first started coming out here and they're doing the press 30s, our dumb ass were still paying $30 a pill because they used to go for $1 a milligram.
Yeah.
Now once fent got out here, it changed the economics of it pretty significantly. You're not having to deal with diversion from pharmacies anymore. It's being pressed at an industrial scale in labs in Mexico now. It's
Yeah.
in everything now.
Yeah, it's in
It's
all
in
of
everything.
Why? Okay, what's the point of that from a
So-
dealer standpoint? Why would you do that?
The thought process is if they can make it more addictive, they're going to sell more of it. And then there's a lot of what happens is it's accidentally getting mixed. Like if you've ever been in a trap house where they're serving dope, you got white powder in two places on the table. You know, there's coke here, fent
Okay,
here.
yeah.
It ends up getting accidentally mixed.
It's not like Swiss pharmacy standards.
No, exactly.
Then they taking the car and they scraping it, or you
Right.
it up on the same scale. So
It just, and it's so potent. It only takes a couple grains of fentanyl getting mixed in with your coke for you to cook up some crack and hit it,
But a 10-piece of it.
and you're done. It's over with.
So what was the catalyst for getting into the drugs? Did you grow up like in a super bad family and
No.
you got
No, man,
ostracized? Or?
my parents are still married. They live 10 minutes up the street from me in Georgia. I had a perfect childhood. My dad was an Army Ranger. My mom's an industrial engineer. She helped build the Columbia Space Shuttle. Like, I had a
No
perfect
way.
childhood. I was gifted.
No way.
Yeah. We moved to California when I was 13, and I started struggling with anxiety really, really bad and ADHD. Docs put me on Ritalin, and that's really where my addiction started, was Ritalin, Adderall.
Interesting.
And then that fueled the anxiety, and I discovered alcohol at 13, too.
Okay.
Alcohol was always my biggest problem. I dabbled in drugs, you know, all of them when I was 14, 15, ended up in residential treatment, got it together, went back, finished college, you know, started a family, did all that, and then I got in a really bad car wreck in 2007 and started dealing with recurrent methicillin-resistant staph infections from it. And so I ended up on pain meds and ended up addicted to the pain meds in 2011, I think.
Okay.
Well, that progressed, and you heard the conversation we just had. You know, $1 a milligram for pain pills is pretty expensive. And when you have a tolerance like I had, that adds up quick. Like I ended up with a $600 a day pain pill habit.
Were you on Oxy or what?
Yeah, I was on Oxys. I ended up hiring a guy who had a heroin habit, and he introduced me to heroin. And it was, in the beginning, like exponentially cheaper than pain pills. And I was like, well, this is great, and it feels better. But that didn't last long. I mean, within a matter of days from the first time I shot up, what had been a, you know, $300 to $600 a day pain pill habit ended up becoming an $800 a day heroin habit.
How'd you afford that?
Well, I owned a business, and I was doing pretty good.
What kind of business?
It's electronics recycling.
Okay.
So we were buying truckloads of freight damaged flat screen TVs.
Okay.
We would test them and then sell the parts to the repair industry, and there were very few of us in the world doing that at the time.
And you could operate on that level of intoxication or drug usage?
Not really.
Okay.
So that's why I ended up going downhill. Like,
Okay.
I think it was 10 months on heroin that first go around before I got arrested for the first time. I had two businesses. We had the electronics distributorship, and then we also had a tactical brand. And so I got pulled over with a bunch of guns and what at the time I thought was a ton of dope. I had like 6 grams of dope on me. Mm-hmm. That's next to nothing now, you know, with the work we do today. But they charged me like I was Pablo Escobar. So I went from, you know, no criminal record, Cub Scout master, you know, T-ball coach, business owner, employer, to being charged with 14 felonies overnight.
Okay, so That must have been brutal because the community, all the people you knew, probably were like, what happened to Ben?
Exactly. We lived out in Lakeland, which is a suburb. We were on a golf course, and I was instantly a pariah. You know, the news went out there. I was P&G'd from everywhere. But these guys out here welcomed me back with open arms. Of course they did. I had money. I ended up basically moving into this house. This is back in 2014, and the house didn't look anything like this back then.
It looked like maybe that over
Yeah,
there?
it looked exactly like that.
Okay.
Worse than that, actually.
Like that?
Like this,
Okay.
yeah. And so I moved into this house and then ended up living over there with a few prostitutes.
Like, how did you end up here, though? Just the drugs brought you here?
Drugs brought me here, man. Yeah.
So it's just like word on the street where to go.
Yeah, it was obviously I was the only white guy out here, you know, and so there was a process of earning trust. Lucretia, what's up, girl?
Okay, yeah. What was that like?
Hey, Cretia, she can talk about this. Cretia, she's a few years out of the game herself now. She's clean. She lives in this house with her wife, a couple of her grandkids.
Peter, nice to meet you.
Where we meet, Cretia?
On Wood, your hand coming through the window, snatch some dope off the table.
Wait, what was that?
You snatch dope off the table. Call me
Cretia
sleep.
used to sell dope and women.
You have men coming over, want to get high, find a woman. They'll pay me. I'm going to go out there and find them and bring them back to them.
Okay, you were just like the middleman.
Yeah, the middleman for that money.
You don't,
As long as I
it'll
get
blow your
mine.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
$20 out here, dude.
20 bucks.
I've seen women turn tricks for half a pack of Newports, man.
Or a nickel rock.
Or a $5 rock of crap. It's sad. I mean, it is bad. Rakaya, hey baby. We actually fostered her. Well, my business partner did for a little bit while her mama was getting some help. Her mom's doing great now.
Okay, so Ben, just to wrap up on, you came into this house. How was it letting the white guy into town?
Suspect.
Suspect.
We didn't have white people just to come to the windows or doors. We were like you the popo.
Yeah.
You thought he was Popo. He looks like Popo. I look like Popo.
Yeah, T came there one day bloody. She knocked him out.
Yeah.
Who knocked him out?
Jess. Used to beat the hell out of me a lot.
Okay, and so you guys,
And they lived next door in their car on the lot with giant.
That's how far down we fell, man. We lived in a f***ing car. I had a lot of up
okay.
and down, man. We met after I got arrested that first time. I was court ordered in Narcotics Anonymous. That's where we met. We ended up relapsing together and lost the house that I had out on the golf course. Got a bigger house, got the businesses back off the ground, the same two I just told you about. Got a way bigger house and then decided to start getting high again. And that's when I brought Jess out to South Memphis. And so Jess got introduced to this house, to Cretia and her house.
How long have you been clean?
Oh, going on 3.
3 years?
Yeah.
What do you do to fill the void?
Taking care of baby and working every day and taking care of the house.
Looks good.
She's underselling it. She's probably brought a dozen kids through this house. They'll foster. They fostered an entire family at the end of the school year before last. So mom, dad, 3 kids. And we didn't tell them to do this. They rent this house. They can do whatever they want with it, you know. But they're paying it forward. They're staying right in the middle of all the chaos, just like we were talking
You
about.
lady down there run down her when his boyfriend beat up.
Yep.
We had her.
Yeah, this is like this is a safe house, and the one next door is too.
Yes, my little girl.
So this was the first house Chris renovated. We spent $300,000 fixing this house, probably.
No way.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. He had just come to us straight out of custody. He's done over half his life incarcerated. He had no teeth and one eye when he came to us. And this is like my closure house, man. I should have died in here. My blood was still on the floor when we came in here the first time. My friend's blood was still on the floor back there, you know. And Chris was like, man, I know how to renovate houses. And I was like, well, let's go figure it out. You know, let's get to work and see what we can get done. And here we are, you know.
Okay, so back here is where you almost got executed, basically.
Yeah. And so many people died out here, man. This was hell for a long time. The street, we called the street hell. That was the door to hell. The front was barricaded. The back door is where we had to go in.
So are there still parts of Memphis that were like what this was before?
100%, man. Yeah.
We can cruise by some of those today?
We'll go. I'm not going to take you in.
Sure, of course.
But, I mean, because you have a camera. They won't like that. But I'll definitely take you by some traps. Some of them are being run by dudes whose other traps we already shut down. Like, they helped us shut them down, but they still got to go make a living, so they pop back up.
So you're
somewhere
not
else.
well liked by these guys?
I'm very well liked by them.
No,
help
but the
us
guys that are you're
Yeah,
shutting
they
down their.
still like us.
Why?
Because I've gotten their baby mama's help. I've gotten their mom off of dope. I've gotten their sister to stop selling her body. You know, they love what we do. I'm not trying to send the dope boys to jail, ever. In fact, when they get rolled up, we're working with the district attorney's office, the U.S. attorney, whoever we can to get them on a better path. Because I want to say, we're not going to fix the problem out here without the dope boys leading the charge. I'm a bald white dude covered in tattoos. The younger generation of Memphis is not going to listen to me. They're not going to hear what I have to say. I need those OGs. I need the dope boys. I need them to come back out here and carry a message of hope saying, look, you ain't got to live this way. You don't have to go to prison. This life doesn't have anything for you. You're not going anywhere with it. Let's do this, 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 and this instead. So we're trying, like the dope boys do love what we do.
This is one of the new houses you've done?
This is, we call this Sparrow 2. These are the houses for women and kids coming out of human trafficking.
Chris helped build this one?
Chris designed this house from the ground up.
Nice, Chris.
And built it.
That's cool, man. You got skills.
Y'all good, bro.
This is a much nicer one. Lots of people, when they're doing a house for people out of addiction and, trafficking women or something, they're just kind of trying to throw something together to have a place for these women. And I didn't want it thrown together. I wanted something very nice.
Yep.
I wanted, clean, nice, something that they could be proud of, something that they could feel worthy of living in it, because that's important. And a lot of them had a rough childhood. I had a rough childhood where I had, cabinets and the doors were hanging off, and the counters were peeling. And a lot of them come from houses like that. So I thought it was very important for them to be able to come to a place where they could feel good.
That's huge, right? Psychologically?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Having a nice space like this? Yeah. And then Chris, that's gotta feel good. Like you gotta get purpose in building these things.
Life. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you, man. I was sprung out all my life, and then I said a prayer to God asking him for help, and that's when he put Ben and Jess in my life. And they never looked at my past, man. They just gave me a chance. And,
nice.
I got purpose out of it. Now I strive to help others as well as myself. So I do a lot of the work myself because it saves money. Because when you hire subcontractors, they want like top dollar to do anything. So.
Okay, so the first one was $300,000. How much was this one? What can you get?
This house here is like $130,000, $140,000. But the difference in that is he was trying to help everybody in the halfway house have a job. He was trying to teach them trades and careers in doing this house, and they didn't know anything about construction. So he was out of a bunch of money from pocket because of that.
The way I have to look at this is like my product is not housing. My product is human lives, And you look at these two dudes right here, worth every penny at $300,000, and they're not the only two that benefited from it. That changed Chris's life. It changed Tammy's life. It gave Rakaya a place to live. You can't put dollars on it. None of this new construction was happening. And it just goes to show, man, all it takes to change the dynamic on one street is one person giving a f***. That's it. Oh, Lord.
That's what you're talking about right there.
Yeah, and there's another train track on Southern right behind us.
Okay, so back in the day, does it still happen, this dynamic
Now,
with the
they
trains?
will still knock cars off. So I used to live in this house right here, 1420 East Macklemore, that garage behind it. They'll knock off train cars and go hide merchandise in that garage.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I haven't seen it happen in, about a year? Yeah. But they used to. This is Shady Lane that we're on now, and everything about this street is shady as f***. Used to be shady.
It looks pretty good.
Right.
These are cool homes, actually.
Yeah, they really are. There's a really cool one right here. I want this one, actually. Bad.
Right, nice old brick homes.
Uh-huh.
Steep roofs. That one's new or redone. For Deep Hood, this actually looks pretty good, I gotta say.
Right, so you're in one of the more historic areas right now.
Okay.
One statistic I meant to give you that I forgot to, but this is very important. Young men out here are more likely to be dead or incarcerated than they are to have a job or be in school. That single data point right there
tells you everything.
If we could, yeah, exactly. If we could change that, you could change the whole dynamic out here. Oh my God, these trains are killing me.
That's a cool train though, look at that.
Oh my God. Bro, it's tanks. What in the hell?
When you're on the ground talking to everyday people behind the headlines, you realize how different reality can be from what the media delivers us. The same story can be spun in completely different ways. That's why I use Ground News. You pull in thousands of articles from around the world and organize them by story, so you can see how the left, center, and right are covering the same event. Their color-coded layout shows each outlet's political bias. Take this same story about the Memphis Safe Task Force. A right-leaning outlet leads with the headline, "Lawsuit hits Trump's Memphis Task Force as marshals reveal 9,000 arrests and 1,500 guns seized." While a left-leaning journal frames the story, "Memphis residents claim harassment, arrest, and abuse by Trump-ordered Memphis Safe Task Force." Two completely different headlines pertaining to the same story. Ground News puts the coverage side by side so we can spot the bias ourselves. Their blind spot feed also shows stories one side is covering heavily while the other barely touches them. Ground News is fully independent and reader supported, and I partnered with them to get my viewers 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use. Go to ground.news/Peter, click the link in my description, or scan my QR code with your phone to get the deal. Subscribe to Ground News, support my reporting, and take control of how you see the world. Now back to the story. Midday like today, bullets aren't flying.
Oh, they are. It's a lot better now because of the Memphis Safe Task Force. We've actually gone a week out here without a shooting. Generally, you'll have a shooting down here every day. In fact, not long ago, we had 3 within a quarter mile of this intersection in one day. The Parkway Inn's a Ho Motel.
Down there?
Yeah, and then there's Sun, you'll see here in a second. There's Sun Inn and Skyway Inn down here, Bellevue Inn right up there. These are all hourly motels where women go to turn tricks. The new pavement is kind of misleading. But, there's some science behind that. If your hood looks nicer, you're going to take better care of it, in theory. And so...
Broken glass theory, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I do buy into that. And more than anecdotally. Like, we've seen it play out. Matter of fact, where I'm about to take you, you're gonna see broken glass theory in action. All right, so this is Elvis Presley. That was South Parkway we just turned off of. This is my building. Right here, you see my We Fight Monsters sign?
Oh, right here, nice.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're gonna get more into that, but just wanna let you know, We Fight Monsters, that's what Ben and Jess are doing. That's their organization, getting people off the streets into homes like we've seen. And that's not all you do. That's just like your passion project. You also have a business, right?
I've got several businesses. This is the most expensive hobby in the world.
Okay.
But here's the thing, man. It takes all of this for us to stay clean. We've tried building businesses and raising a family, and we relapsed every time. We've rebuilt life together and burned it to the ground twice. And so this time we decided to do it different, and we started the nonprofit with our excess. So this is Woodward Street, all right? That is the house where we hit rock bottom. So I woke up in an empty lot next door to the trap house in South Memphis, covered in blood, and had no idea what had happened. This is that empty lot. It's no longer empty. And this is that trap house. This was the first house that we came back to Memphis with the intent of shutting down. It was an active dope house at the time. This is the window Lucretia told you about that my hand went through and stole all her dope. They used to do hand-to-hand transactions through this window. I have no idea how many people have been shot in this house. You can see the gunshots coming back out because we'd be shooting back.
Oh, right.
We've patched a lot in the house itself when we renovated it. Right now the house is boarded up. We had a couple in here that relapsed and trashed everything. And so since they were buying dope and all that, we decided we're gonna board this house up for a little bit and just let the block calm back down. You could tell from the construction though, this street's still very calm. And that's crazy for where we're at. Woodward Street it was insane. I've gone to jail in the spot more times than I can count. My buddy was shot in the head 5 times right there, died on the ground. Another one of my friends went missing from that house. She was found up the road, her mutilated body left in the cemetery. Lucretia's brother's been shot 6 times in this house, 4 times on one occasion, 2 times on another occasion. Jess and I have been held at gunpoint in this house, removed from this house at gunpoint.
Recidivism rate is high?
Staggering.
Like what
Dude,
percent?
90 plus. 90 plus,
Okay,
depending on the demographic you're talking about. There's recidivism rates staggeringly high, and I mean, the reason for that is like the issues that have people committing crimes and end up in jail aren't getting addressed very often. You're talking generational trauma, generational cycles of poverty, and I'm not making excuses. Like, you know, we make the decisions we make that land us in jail. But, you know, I wish programs like the Shelby County Drug Court, Recovery Court, Veterans Court, Mental Health Court, I wish those got as much funding as our jails get. Because if you're talking about this from a taxpayer perspective, right? Like, let's say Cody, who you haven't met yet, stole my car. That's what he was. He was a professional car thief, all right? He steals my car, Auto Theft Task Force builds a case on him, they arrest Cody, he goes to jail. My car has been chopped. I'm never getting that back, you know? I didn't have insurance, so it's not like I'm getting cashed out on that. Now, as a taxpayer of Shelby County, I'm footing the bill at $45,000 a year to keep Cody incarcerated. I've never been made whole. So I'm essentially being re-victimized by him having to be incarcerated. Whereas today, Cody is 5 years clean and is paying taxes, running a business himself, managing our men's housing. And that's because of reentry. That's because of, you know, focusing on the actual causes of the problems rather than just punitive, right? And some people belong in institutions. Don't dispute that. Child molesters, people that commit sexual violence, exceptionally violent individuals, these are the people jails and institutions are made for. There are certain people that have to be removed from civil society. You can't fix them. And I firmly believe child molesters and people that commit sexual violence are in that category. The overwhelming majority of everybody else, people that commit property crimes, you know, a random violent crime, and drug crimes in particular, those people more often than not can be fixed and can be sent right back out into these communities to change them.
Okay, let me ask you this question. My wife and I left San Francisco in 21. That's when we had a weak DA that said the criminals are the victims. You could steal up to $950. And so there was no stick. There was plenty of incentive. And so we just got more of that.
Yep, 100%.
So with what you're saying, recidivism is super high. You're saying we just got to go with a different approach at it, because if there is no consequence, then it seems like it multiplies.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
I am a law and order guy. I am not saying no consequence. I would not have gotten clean if I wasn't getting charged every other weekend for possession of narcotics.
Okay.
Like, going to jail sucks. It helped me get clean. So getting booked in jail, you know, having to do 30 days, having to do 3 months, makes perfect sense. We need that. We need those consequences. What I'm saying doesn't make sense is, like, when I got arrested that time I told you about with all the guns and my own drugs, I was looking at 20 years in prison. How is that fixing anything, right? I needed drug court. Now, I say that, and I still got myself kicked off drug court because I wasn't ready to get clean, you know? But I watch people every single day come off these same streets, end up in our drug court house and get it and do it right. And so the point I was making is that we need to focus more on outcomes-based judicial process, where there's data-backed stuff behind it, you know, not decriminalization. God, never.
Like get out of prison and don't just release. Like there's
you
like
have to go through a reentry process.
Yeah.
Yes, and so to that end, like we've met with the U.S. Attorney's Office, we've met with the Federal Reentry Council, we've met with Bureau of Prisons. We work with the drug court every single day. We work with probation, parole, because these systems in place is how you prevent that revolving door from continuing. This house, this was mine and Jessica's personal hell. And it doesn't look like it today because we gutted the motherfucker.
This was your personal hell.
This is our personal hell. The number of hours I spent in this room wishing I could die. Yeah, this house is hell.
It's so surreal to be in here.
Yeah.
So the only way you stay from going back into this is doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because you see it from a sober perspective firsthand, you're like, that looks terrible. I don't want that. And then you're helping people.
Yeah, it's, I'm a little extra in everything we do. And so I don't think everybody needs to go buy the fucking trap house where they wish they died to get clean. But I had to do that. You know, I had to. I had to try to get the dudes that used to sell me dope on a better path because I knew they were good men. Lucretia. I wasn't wrong about her. She's kept families together because I got her and her sister and her brother out of this house. You know, and on paper, that's a narco trafficker. That's a human trafficker. That's a violent felon. On paper, there's no logical reason she should be doing what she's doing today. Yet there's at least a dozen kids who have parents in their lives because of her, you know? And so it takes people who have actually lived it. You can't just institutionalize and put programming in place that says we're going to do actually, like, you have to know these people. You have to actually have lived it. You have to have bled in the trenches with them to be able to go back and guess who's going to do what you want them to do. And you're not always going to get it right. You know, two of the guys that used to sell dope out of this house that we helped avoid some consequences and mentored onto a better path. One of them has since shot somebody, and the other one got caught with 5.5 pounds of fentanyl. You're not always going to get it right, but you get Creasha, Drennan, and Daphne who are kicking ass today. And then you've got us. We came out of this same house, and here we are today. This house has been used to put a family back together.
Explain to those that don't do meth and fent, what's so great? All it seems like is terrible from the outside. What's the draw to that? Is when you're in it, it feels just amazing?
No, it was miserable. You just can't stop.
Well, at first it is amazing, and that's what kind of brings you in.
Yeah, addiction begins with a choice. You know, that first time you made a choice to do it, and it does feel great. But the problem is, especially with crack, you'll spend the rest of your life chasing that high that you had the first time, and you'll never get it again, ever. But you are incapable of not continuing to chase it. With opiates, it's different. Now, fentanyl came into this house in early 2018, this block in 2018, and you know, Jess and I both come from a healthcare background. My first job after the Army and college was selling drugs for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals.
No way.
She was a medical assistant, and
No
so
way.
like we both vehemently wanted to avoid fentanyl. We were afraid of it. You know, we were addicted to heroin.
Because you knew what it was.
Absolutely. And, you know, you're asking what's the draw? Like, well, with heroin, first time you shoot up, really every time you shoot up, it feels like God's giving you a hug. It's like the most comforting thing on earth, and that never goes away.
Okay. All your problems go away when you're on
everything.
it?
The song Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, that's about heroin. It's exactly what it is.
Okay, so who's buying these places? Who's going to be buying them?
People in this community. That's the goal, I think, for all of us that are doing work out here, is to actually make this community better for the people that are already here. Nobody's trying to gentrify South Memphis. Like, it's not going to work. You're not going to gentrify
No
South
college students are coming in here.
100%. Making this place actually better for the people that live here and grow up here, that's something I think everybody can kind of get behind. You've seen already, even though we're in, you know, on paper, one of the deadliest zip codes in America, everybody's pretty damn cool out here.
Yeah, right?
So that was, you know, broken glass theory kind of in action right there. One person shows up making it a little bit better.
You want the windows up
So they don't see the camera. They're going to get weirded out like a motherfucker if they see that.
Okay.
They're used to me being out here and filming. They're not used to me bringing other white folks out here to film.
All right.
So this is a very active dope track. I'm not going to point out the houses just because I'm not trying to get anybody rolled up. We're still working with the dope boys out here. I've got two of them that run houses out here, have active ongoing cases in criminal court. I would like to see both of them get on a better path. One of them, I don't think there's a chance in hell he's had ample opportunity, and he probably needs to be in prison. You never know, man. They surprise you sometimes.
Okay, so you're a kid growing up here. What's your life looking like for the most part?
You're selling weed by the time you're 12, like best case. And it's to help mama put bread on the table.
Yeah, but can't she get welfare? Can't she get EBT?
Oh, they're getting all that. But here's the thing. When mom's addicted to fent or crack, she's selling her food stamps the day she gets them, you know, for 50 cents on the dollar. There's a lot of stores around here you can go and they'll buy all your stamps for 50 cents on the dollar. It's illegal as shit, but they do it. It's also a lot more expensive to be poor than it is to be just above poor. When you're having to rent a room and you're in what's known as a food desert, there's not healthy food options out here. It's Zuzus and Wham Whams. Nobody's got cars. It's just a very difficult cycle to get out of. And I can say that because I've been stuck in it myself.
The food desert argument here would be like, hey, why do you want to set up a shop when you're going to have so much robbery going on?
Bro,
right?
That right there, where it's DG Market now, it was a Walgreens, then it was something else. Like, how do you put a Walgreens out of business, man? And it's shoplifting. That's probably the quickest answer.
Is it
to
the
that.
Indian markets that come in? Is that about it?
They don't even care. I mean, those don't even last. You'll have an Indian corner store, or a lot of them are Iranian run now, I think.
Those guys got courage, huh?
They do. They're like, by and large, they're cool as shit, too. Like, I love those guys.
Right.
They have fun out here.
I have an international audience. People are going to see this from other parts of the world and be like, yeah, that's not that bad. Right?
Right.
It's a little shabby, but you got sidewalks and the pavement isn't dirt. And, you know, these houses, some of them just need paint and a little love.
Yep. Well, on paper last year, this was 400% deadlier for a civilian than Ukraine. 500% deadlier than Iraq or Afghanistan. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Jess and I used to live in a $700 truck in this lot right here with our 2-year-old.
Oh my God. When was this nice? 50s?
Yeah, probably the 50s. You know, most of these homes were built in the 30s, and so I would say it was definitely nice back then, but it's steadily declined ever since.
And to be fair, we're showing just the hood right now today. There are beautiful hoods here.
Yeah.
Right? And beautiful architecture. And like, I have that in another video because you could think it's all like this and it's not.
Right. This is Stack's recording studio, the birthplace of soul music. This is why this area is called Soulsville. You can even see the little Soulsville sign right there.
This is a tourist stop.
Oh yeah, big time, big time.
Okay, so a little piece of brightness in the hood.
Well, that was the backdrop to 3 murders in less than 7 days about a month ago. It looks like it should be nice. And I'll sit out here and bitch about the problems all day long, but I don't claim to have the answer. There's a lot of answers. Getting men to be fathers out here would go so far. You have dudes getting raised often by aunts or grandmothers, not even their mother. Men need to have men in their lives. You need a strong male in your life to teach you things.
Or the gang's going to do it.
Or the gang's going to do it. And if you pay attention to social media, the things that are important to a lot of these guys out here, like, you know, designer clothes, like men shouldn't care about, right? That is a very strange thing for a man to be posting on Facebook about, you know what I mean? But you'll see more often than not, that is the content that is getting echoed out here. We need men focused on building enterprise, building businesses, creating economic opportunity and jobs. And, you know, it's interesting if you pay attention to rap lyrics. Obviously, we're in a very heavily black community. Like, I was the only cracker out here for years and years. If you pay attention to rap lyrics, like, it's becoming cool again for the black entrepreneur and the black father.
It is.
And so
the lyrics are coming around.
I think the timing for what we're trying to convey out here is God ordained. I mean, I think we got really lucky. You'll see if we get to encounter any of the dope boys today, like, they want it to be better out here too. Their kids got to grow up out here. Their baby mamas are out here. Their moms are out here on these streets. You know, nobody wants it to remain what it is now. Nobody really just knows how to go about making change. And I think one of the things that we've gotten good at is showing people that, look, dude, this is so easy, a crackhead can do it. Like, just come out here, put some effort in, and try to make one thing better at a time. And what'll end up happening is what you saw in Wilbur and Melrose. Other people are going to come along behind you. They just need somebody to lead the charge. I think it was Mark Twain that said in the early days of a revolution, a patriot is a hard to find, or rare, something to that effect. But when the risk of being the leader in that goes away, the more timid guys will come out of the woodwork. You have to have the more timid guy. You have to have everybody kind of coming together trying to drive change out here. It's not something one man can do.
Okay, so you grew up in a house, your parents are split up, your mom's on dope, your dad's not there. I mean, you don't have many positive examples. That's the problem, right?
That's a big part of the problem, yeah.
And also mentality, easy for me to say because I don't live here, but I was in Savannah recently talking to this guy. It was off camera, and he's like, how do you do it, man? And I'm like, what? He's like, you travel like this and you don't cheat on your wife. I'm like, I don't know. I love her, and
like,
she's
that's
great.
not an option?
He looked at me like I hiked Everest without a shirt and no oxygen.
Yeah.
Like, it was the most amazing feat ever. And I'm like, man, you just blew up your family again, and you keep cheating on women. That's just not, I mean...
Mindset's a huge problem. I'll get the same reaction from guys out here when you sit down and have a heart-to-heart with a gang member or a dope boy, and you drop on them that you don't have to go to prison. Nobody has to go to prison.
They think they're going no matter what.
Yeah, it's like, it's a part of life out here, and that gets accepted. Infidelity, violent crime, like all of these things that should seem so foreign to most of us, it is an accepted part of life out here. It's so normal that for them to grasp anything other than that is like a shocking, massive revelation. But it's a very important revelation to get out there. If you can start getting it to be generationally accepted, you should not be incarcerated. That is not, it doesn't have to happen. You know, that's kind of a big deal. And the sanctity of marriage, the importance of a home, family dinners, things that most of us probably take for granted, you know, that's like something that happens on TV. That's kind of sad.
Do you see on a governmental level, what's the strategy? You would know better than me since you're in the thick of it here. What do you think the strategy is? Is it just like let it be, let it destroy itself, or?
I think both political parties leverage the hood as a pawn for self-interest. I'm seeing Black America at large get played by both parties. This is not, you know, a Democrat or Republican issue. They're playing the Black community. They're playing on poverty. They're playing on violent crime to further their own self-interest and honestly to get reelected. My faith in the institution of American government has fallen so much in the last several years because of the work we do. I don't see government as actually really wanting to solve anything. I don't see the politicians that are out here clamoring for everybody's vote and claiming to have done so much for the hood actually showing up out here to do shit. I don't. For the most part, especially at the federal level, our government uses the hood as a means to an end. They use Black America as a means to an end, and it's been going on for generations.
Because if you get that vote, you win pretty much, right?
Absolutely.
Or it's going to help you.
Or you're getting, you know, money just legislated away for self-interest. You look at the fraud that's going on all around our country right now at these federal programs, and so many of them hinge on your ability to sell that idea to the Black community. I have been waiting for the successful Black community to show up and shoulder this load with us, and it's not happened. And that's frustrating. You've got a lot of very successful Black businessmen in this city and all around the country who came out of Memphis. And like, we're out here literally trying to make the worst hood in America a safer place for kids. And we've got metrics to back it up. It's not just me saying we're making it better. We are objectively making this place better. The crime has dropped significantly. You've got new construction happening on streets in South Memphis that hasn't happened in 100 years, right? And there's no way to say it's not because of what we've done out here. I feel especially our elected officials from that community should be showing up out here.
There's some great art in here. Look at
And
that.
so that's
is
why I wanted to
beautiful.
bring you here, right?
Okay, this is really cool.
There is so much hidden potential
Right.
in the hood
Look at that.
people just don't realize it.
No, it's so true.
And this isn't just a one and done. Every time you come out here, the art's different. This is still active. There's still kids skating out here.
Look at that.
This part of town, we're getting into Midtown now. So you'll have $1 million homes here in a second. Matter of fact, I believe Scientology owns this one.
No way.
Yeah.
That is a trip. I mean, that's
Yep.
literally 30 seconds.
30 seconds, man.
Now, does the crime come over here or not
100%,
really?
yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. Usually the crime's going to happen on the streets. Home invasions are exceedingly rare when you're talking about normal citizens. Now, if you're selling dope, your house is getting broken into, I promise. People pretty much just accept it, but, you know, that being said, like, you just walked through the Ultra Hood and you saw and even commented on the fact nobody's bothering you. As long as you act like you're where you're supposed to be, you're not going to become a victim of crime. Most of the crimes are of opportunity. If they can target somebody that looks like a victim, they're 100% going to do that.
This is Central Barbecue.
That's her favorite restaurant.
I love barbecue, period, but Central Barbecue is
Okay.
so good.
And Memphis, obviously legendary.
Legendary barbecue, yeah. It's better here than anywhere else in the country, and I will fight people over that.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Do you love it? Do you love it? Is it amazing?
Oh, it's amazing, yes.
Okay.
Went to the good one.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, pulled pork sandwich. What is that, Ben? That's
Barbecue nachos.
barbecue nachos. And that's a little bit of everything, huh?
A little bit of everything.
In the next couple of years, we need to have about $10 million raised to renovate and open our own treatment center. Once we have, and we already have the building.
Okay.
Once we have that done, you know, it'll be really off to the races. Like that'll be generating revenue.
How's it generating revenue?
The treatment center, insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, state reimbursement.
So why do you think that link of the chain is broken with treatment centers? Just bad stigma?
Well,
or what is it? Because it seems like
I don't know that
we
it's
need
really
more,
broken.
We need more of that, right?
There's the people that are in that space here in Memphis, and probably nationwide, are very guarded. They view every other center as competition. There's not a lot of collaboration. And it's easy for us not to look at anybody as competition because this mission is not my livelihood. My income doesn't depend on this. In fact, it actually hurts my income.
Right. And, and the more I get into the stories around the country, the more I'm wary when an income is fully off something like this.
It's sketchy.
Especially if they're driving a truck like yours, you'd be like, what's this dude doing with the money?
Bingo.
And I hate to say it, it's more often than not where I see those situations where it's like, I love the cause, I love the mission, and then greed comes when money comes in, and
well,
you make no money from.
This costs me 6 figures personally every year.
So you have a well-performing business that supports you.
Despite talking about that often and loudly, people still see me and my collection of muscle cars in my truck and somehow get it in their head that the nonprofit has paid for any of that. And I'm like, no, I had all of these things before I even had a nonprofit.
Right.
And the thing that frustrates them the most is like, nonprofit financials are public. You don't even have to go do the research yourself. You can ask ChatGPT to do it for you. How much does Ben make from We Fight Monsters? It'll tell you straight up $0 because it can see our financials.
Okay. Great sandwich, by the way. Really good barbecue.
I just love barbecue.
Tender. Okay, so what's the 5-year plan, if you have one?
5-year plan, we'll have 777, our treatment center, opened up. We'll have a trade school in there. We'll have job skills training, a full reentry program, youth services, and I won't have to be the face of it anymore.
You don't want to be?
I want to focus on my businesses, my family.
You don't want to work on anything else in this space?
I want to tell myself I don't, but I know that's a lie. I'm incapable of not doing this. I want to expand our work with reentry, and I want to have more done with youth programming.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a difficult space to be effective, and that's a big gap.
Just, you're dealing with state, you're dealing with parents?
Liability, legality, public perception. It's just a tough space to operate in. Recovery period's a tough space to operate in because there are so many grifters.
Right.
And there are so many schemes and scams, and it's impossible to not get lumped in with those people. Doesn't matter how successful I am on the for-profit side of my businesses.
Yeah.
People are always going to see, okay, well, Ben just made a post asking for money for this, but Ben has a $90,000 truck and a 1970 GTX. Like, okay, well, Ben's already given a lot of money to this. Like, and I'm.
What are you doing for your business? What's your other business? Your main business?
So it's actually shifting a little bit. One's taken off. For years, my primary business has been a company called Black Rifle. We do data intelligence and digital media for the firearms industry. So like gun companies can't go advertise in Google. They can't advertise on Facebook.
Okay.
We created a platform that allows them to advertise across ad exchanges just like they were advertising with Google or Facebook.
Gotcha.
And it's been very successful. Then we started up another company called Once American that does open source intelligence targeting and investigative work. Basically, we leverage agentic AI to scour petabytes of information to do intelligence work on bad actors. And it can do in about 2 minutes what it would take a human, a day or two to do.
Give me an example of how that works here. There's a bad actor.
Let's say Homeland Security has a trafficking case tied back to a particular email address. I can take that email address, run it through a system. I can give you that guy's full identity. I'm talking down to the VIN number of his vehicle. And then they're able to go action that as law enforcement.
Gotcha.
And so that's actually starting to take off really well right now.
I bet. We're going to North Memphis, which is a totally different hood, right?
Totally different hood. There's very little crossover. You hear everybody talk about street gangs. They're very lowly organized in Memphis. The fact that they get hit with RICO charges, which is racketeering and organized crime, is hilarious to me. Street gangs in Memphis are not like that. It's not like, this blood in, blood out. Like they're just cliques, man. And for the most part, a lot of the violence we have is like intra-clique. They're fighting each other,
Okay, so North Memphis, rough, just like South Memphis, or different?
It depends on who you ask. Statistically, it's nowhere near as bad as South Memphis. But, you hit some of these neighborhoods, it's going to feel a lot worse, if that makes sense. It looks worse. This is like the weirdest little compound area, and it is full of addicts. They closed it down because of black mold. Now it's opened back up again. But you know what? There are a lot of just good working class people in here. But addiction's a big problem out here, man. These people had started squatting in these when they were shut down, and they built barricades out of pallets. Like it was like some real meth lab looking shit. In fact, they were probably cooking meth back here. Some of them don't even have power. It looks a lot better now because they slapped paint and new roof on these things. But dude, these things, like, they're rough on the inside.
So guy just recycling stuff? Is that story?
Never know, man. That could be his family. Now, sometimes they'll be scrapping shit. Now, there are a lot of scrap yards out here. I didn't see what he had in the basket. They'll pick up scrap metal. But the scrap yards out here are great allies when you're trying to get intel on trafficking survivors who might be scrapping shit. We have one guy going to look out for a pedophile for us.
Okay, so what's the trafficking scene these days with women?
So trafficking in Memphis is largely dope-fueled prostitution. We've sat down with human traffickers, convicted traffickers, and asked them, if you're going to start that back up, what's step one, what's step two, how would you go through that process? And none of them said they're going to go kidnap girls and get them addicted to dope, because they don't have to. There are plenty of people who are already addicted out here. There are plenty of girls who already have problems at home. They're going to be easily exploitable because they have trust issues, they have unmet needs, they have basic needs unmet, food, clothing, housing. You go meet any of those needs, and before long, you're going to have essentially a slave, especially if they're already addicted.
Okay.
And so trafficking more often than not begins with a girl who has already maybe used her body to fund her addiction and just falls in with the wrong dude who acts like he's going to take care of her. And what actually ends up happening is he's now got him a new victim to traffic. As long as you keep her fed with dope, she's going to keep doing what's asked of her.
So just pimp-ho relationship, basically.
100%. Yep.
Okay, how many workers do these pimps have typically?
Most of them will have, 2 to 3 main ones, and then they'll have those referred to as the bottoms. Some of them have just one primary bottom, and they'll go recruit more. I think the most we've ever tied back to one trafficker is, 7? Yeah. They're not big rings here. Jess will end up working these cases because a lot of them start on sex ad sites, and I'm just not going to sit there and go, but they'll tweak out on these things and start identifying girls based on their ads. Like, I'm seeing signs of trafficking here. I've tied this number back to this guy using the same platform I was talking about that Homeland Security uses. You'll tie that back to the trafficker. We've identified rings that'll operate at Airbnbs in Houston, New Orleans, Memphis, Miami, Tampa, and they'll own these Airbnbs. Like, these are big deal trafficking rings that are run by dudes and their bottoms. And so those end up getting kind of large sometimes. And those are the kind of cases we'll work with, 3-letter agencies.
Where is it the worst in the country, or it's pretty much uniform across urban metro area America? You're seeing this everywhere.
You see it everywhere where I think, and we've worked counter-trafficking operations and recovered women all over the country. I think where it's going to be the worst is where you have a larger immigrant population, and you've got people that you can really exploit in a number of different ways, not just, based around addiction, but like if you're running a human trafficking operation that involves a passport scam, like a Chinese illicit massage parlor or something like that. Those are where it gets really, really ugly. And so cities like Memphis does not have a very large immigrant population compared to Atlanta, Houston, DFW.
Okay.
Memphis and St. Louis are a lot alike in our demographics and our issues. Atlanta and Houston are a lot alike in their issues. And so the nefarious, or more nefarious, I should say, side of human trafficking turns up in those cities. Here, most of it is based around addiction. So this is an area known as Speedway Terrace. Not a great part of town, but it's one of my favorite places. Now, all of these homes are about a century old.
What are these going for, you think?
It depends on how they've been renovated. One right down there got renovated really nice, like Airbnb, and they were selling it for, what, $270?
So in Memphis, you might get an Airbnb and not know what hood you're in.
Right.
And you could end up in the hood.
Absolutely. We call this our old men's home, or the retirement home. And it's not intentional, it's just usually where all of our old vets end up, because our other men's house is reserved for drug court clients.
Okay.
Which not always, but usually ends up being younger guys. Two of my favorite guys on earth, man. How y'all doing? How's it going, bro?
Good to see you.
I love you, dude. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
I'm all right.
How you doing?
Good,
Peter.
bro. How you doing?
Nice to meet you, Gary.
So Gary, Peter, Gary. This is Drennan.
Drennan. Nice to meet you, sir.
man?
Doing well.
Yeah.
We met your sister earlier and your granddaughter.
Okay.
Rakaya, the little girl just brought up.
Okay.
That's his granddaughter.
Nice.
She's doing good, man.
All right.
How things going right now for
Hey,
you?
fine, man. Things going pretty good for me, man. So for life.
How long you been sober?
Well, 23.
Since 23. Oh, nice. And you, sir?
13 months.
13.
This time.
Okay, this time.
This time.
How many relapses?
At least 6.
Oh, wow.
At least 6.
So how you holding on this time?
This time I get more active. Ben gave me the opportunity to be the manager of the house, you know what I mean? And like that helps a lot, you know? And then I'll tell you what really made me take hope this time was like when I come back in here, I come back in with my head down, you know, I done messed up again, you know, and that ain't something that I choose to do. That's something that just happens, you know what I mean? Like for whatever reason. But when I come in here and Ben and Cody and them, they never look down on me. He just say, hey, you got it this time. Hey, I'm glad to see you back, you know what I mean? And that means more than anything. And it pushes me forward to, I want to do that for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like
Cool.
when
And he's done it for a lot of somebody else's at this point. A lot.
When he give me the opportunity to do it, like you don't know how much it means for somebody that we know. I know I've relapsed 6 times. I know I've accumulated more charges in the last 5 years than I had in my whole life. But for him not to look down on me, for him to say you got it this time, for whatever reason, it just took hope. And then me being proactive and given the opportunity to be proactive, to volunteer and do other things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let him down again. I don't want to let me down again. You know what I mean?
Hey, you never let me down, man.
And he showed me that. But nah.
Can we walk in here?
Yes.
Is that cool? How many of you guys in here right now?
I think it's 6.
6.
Mr. Gary.
For 6 guys, you keep a. How you
they-
doing, sir? For 6 guys, you keep a pretty tight ship.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6.
It holds 12. It's low right
I've
now.
never seen a place with 6 guys this clean.
Oh, bro, they keep this place spotless.
Good work.
Good, man. How you doing? I'm Ben.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. This is my wife, Jess.
Oh, sorry.
Peter.
I jumped in.
Nice to meet y'all.
Your
got
name is?
I'm Gary.
Gary.
Yes, sir.
You
How's
got
it-
here not too long ago, right?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, yep.
How's it going, Gary?
It's going good.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys all get along?
Yes, we do.
Who's not doing the dishes, huh?
Everybody does it.
All right.
Everybody does it this week at a time.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, so they have their own lockers and keep their own stuff. This is like a community kitchen, so they
It's all organized. Look at that. They got the
Yes.
parts of the fridge.
Yeah, we had another guy that was running it a while back, and he was I'll just say it, he's a horrible human being. So we had to get him out, and then, Gary's in it now, and it's always been big to keep it very tidy and clean.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
just-
great.
It's more orderly, and it gives them more structure. So, but they're doing really good. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, for 6 guys.
Yeah.
Like no dishes in the sink. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a first.
And it makes me feel even better seeing the men that come through here. Some of them, we used to smoke crack with Jordan back in the trap house, and to have him here now,
way.
clean, like it's just an amazing feeling.
You know what I love most about this is It's a feeling, and I'm sure it will come through on the camera. These people love you guys. Like there's a deep bond.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot with these guys.
Yeah.
Both the ones we knew in active addiction and in one sense. I mean, you got to stand by them through thick and thin. You know, when we were in the house of Woburn, I told you a really good friend of ours overdosed and died in there. That was his wife. Yeah, so like we go back. We go way back.
And you got drug testing here.
Oh yeah. You got to have accountability, man. It's always tough when somebody fails. The way these houses were historically run, this has been a halfway house 20 years in Memphis. I was court ordered into the one up the street. We own that one now too. I got kicked out of it in 8 days because I failed a drug screen. But that historically, that's how it was run. If you failed, it's over with. You're out. You know, and it's still that way today. But it's not just you're out. It's all right. You have failed this screen. You're out of here today.
Yeah.
But I can take you to detox and I can save your bed, or you can just hit the streets. And so we've had a lot of guys opt to just start over, you know, and that's what it takes sometimes. For some of us like me, we're dumb and you got to hit the streets and go suffer some more, you know. Guys, thanks for letting us crash.
Keep it up.
Party.
Keep up the great work.
I love you too, man. Hey, man, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. I love you, bro. Gary, thanks, man.
If you need me, bro.
Take care.
Yeah.
We'll see you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, brother.
You too, bro.
So I haven't seen that much of this in Memphis.
You won't. The police typically won't tolerate that shit. There are some places where it'll pop up and he probably couldn't already yell at you.
Yeah.
It is horrendous.
What, the public schools?
Public school system here is just, it is so good. And there's so much drama around the Memphis Shelby County school system right now. They gave up their charter to the state. Now they're trying to take it. They can't run a school system. That's the problem. Nobody is proficient at grade level. I forget the percentage that is actually like even able to read when they graduate, but it is abhorrent. And to look at that and then expect any different from the next generation of Memphis, it feels a little disingenuous. Like you can't throw kids into such a hot garbage mess of public school and expect change to happen. If anything, it's going to get worse.
You can't blame it all on the schools, though, too. It's the home life, right?
Absolutely. There's a myriad of factors going into it. The talent and the heart is leaving the teaching profession by and large. But also, you've got kids coming into schools acting like grown adults they don't attach consequences to actions at all. They don't process that teachers have authority, or if they do process it, it means absolutely nothing to them.
That's all society's and the adults' fault, right? For letting it go to that?
Absolutely.
Because if I was a kid, and I did as a kid, I pushed it right to the edge.
100%, I did too.
And if the edge was further away, I would have pushed it further.
Yep,
right?
absolutely. That's what adolescents
That's what kids do.
That's part of what makes America great, is that our kids push limits, right? But you got to have some guardrails up.
Yeah,
you got to have some guardrails up, and there have to be, firm and swift consequences when we push too hard against those guardrails. You don't have that in Memphis. You got kids acting like grown folks out here. I think the largest driver of violent crime in this city currently is probably kids, 12 to 16 years old. That's a scary prospect for a teacher. Society needs to get back to a meritocracy where we move forward based on the merits of our actions. I don't feel entitled to special treatment because I'm white or because I'm an addict in recovery, and I think that's how a lot of how we operate as a society got off kilter, is because we started paying more attention to what makes somebody different rather than what makes them exceptional. We need to get back to rewarding exceptionalism and push each other to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. That's the only way any of this gets any better. I do enough out here every day that when I lay my head on my pillow at night, I know I couldn't have done more. Objectively looking at all the problems Memphis has, it is too much for one organization to stop. It doesn't mean we haven't had major impact. It doesn't mean that we haven't done a whole lot of great things, but I know the problems here are far too big for just us to tackle. They're far too big for just law enforcement to tackle, which is why we went and leaned on the White House. It's why we leaned on the Memphis Safe Task Force. So now we do have the playing field leveled more than we did. So now I think if the right people can go lean on the Department of Education, on HUD, on Health and Human Services, to get all the other angles attacked, Memphis could have a renaissance inside of 3 years, I think. We've already gone from the deadliest city to America to off the top 10 list in a matter of months. But the second these feds leave Memphis, all that shit's coming right back, you know.
I haven't seen any feds though yet at all.
So have you seen
Where are these
Tennessee
guys?
Highway Patrol?
What's that?
You seen Tennessee Highway Patrol, THP, state troopers?
Yeah.
They're riding with them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all banded, and wait till something pops off, you'll see all of them.
see 40 of them.
You'll see 40 roll up, dude. Like the response time is insane, like in a good way right now. And the overwhelming response, you know, the shock and awe factor is a big deal right now too. Hell, they'll even have National Guard showing up damn shoplifting. You know, it's crazy.
Right,
But it's a Band-Aid.
But if you're saying these kids are graduating school, a lot of them not even being able to read,
Yep.
then, I mean, common sense says
It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better, you know. You have to tackle that metric right there. I have to make young men out in this hood more likely to be in college or have a job than they are to be dead or incarcerated. And right now it's the flip of that. We have to turn that around. And I think to turn that around, it's going to take tackling the school system. It's going to take tackling just a whole host of human problems that are far too great for me. Like, I'm good at helping people out of addiction, right? That's kind of my thing. I'm not good at helping people graduate, you know, school reading on grade level. We need a lot more dumped into this city. People here don't have any idea how bad this place is. None whatsoever. If I bring people from Memphis to where we live in Georgia, they're blown away and they think that Forsyth County, Georgia is a unicorn. Whereas in reality, Memphis is the unicorn. This place is unlike anywhere else I have ever lived, and I've lived in 28 cities in 14 states. This place is very different from the rest of America. And that's the dichotomy that is Memphis. It feels fine, it feels safe, all the people are cool, but until you piss
until they
them
burn
off.
your house down.
Until they come burn your house down, yeah.
They're quick to react.
Yeah,
Yeah, they gotta tear that down.
yeah, it's a tear down.
When did this thing get burnt?
About a month or two.
Month or two? So
Damn.
it had to scare you guys seeing this go up in flames. Huh?
Yeah, y'all lucky.
Got up to go to the bathroom. And it was cold as hell. You can feel the heat feel like summertime. I said,
Ooh, boy.
it had burnt for a while.
You gotta go all the way
It had
down
been burnt
Oh, yeah.
Was it your old neighbor who set it on fire, you think?
No, it
for-
had been taken a while.
Oh, it'd been vacant.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
How's everything in the hood otherwise?
Otherwise, just a normal hood. You know, shit happens. And
Shit, that's right.
But a lot of stuff's getting built up around here.
I know it, but it ain't bad as people put on to be, but it's just a normal hood like anyway.
Yep.
Sir, you a waiter or you just you go around with the
I
apron?
work at the rendezvous. I'm a waiter.
Nice.
Oh, hell yeah. Hey, man, next time you're
Is
in
that good
Memphis, we
food?
need to take you to Rendezvous. That's great barbecue.
I mean, they kind of blow it up with the crime thing and all, blow it out of proportion.
You feel okay walking around here at night?
Without a doubt, I actually used to run 15, 20 laps down the center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to run 15,
Nice.
20 laps down the center, just back and forth. Just
You got Junior doing
I
that?
feel like it, huh?
You got Junior
When
doing the
I
laps?
stayed out in Germantown. Now this is my old home. I got another home now. I work out in my garage now.
Germantown.
Yeah,
Are you German?
not at all.
How's it out there?
I mean, I feel like it's the same as here. I mean, I had no issues.
Yeah, it's just East Memphis now.
Right, it's just East Memphis. This
Yeah.
is South Memphis.
How many kids you got?
No, this is my mom and this is my son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got two sons and a daughter.
Not, Mom, you're looking fresh.
Yeah, mom's standing there.
Yeah, damn.
All right, man.
All the
If
best.
you get a chance, come on down and see us down the rendezvous. I'm heading down now. Hey, brother, appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
That's generally the kind of interaction that you will have with Memphis people. They're good people in the end. They're just really good people.
Yeah.
Some of them have gone down a bad path and made a few bad choices. There are some actual bad people here, but for the most part, dude, these are good people.
People come up to you, they smile, they want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
no attitude, you're not from here. I haven't
No.
felt
No,
Exactly
never.
right.
You'll
No.
never get treated that
You're
way.
very welcomed here.
Yeah,
Everywhere
that's
I've
true.
gone, yeah.
That comes from being an underdog, I think.
I think so
like
too.
having a bad
There's
reputation.
humility there.
Yes.
There is a sense of humility in this city that I've never seen anywhere else. There's, everybody's not standing around like thinking they're better than anybody else. Everybody's just, they're cool with everybody. And that's why I love Memphis.
Everybody's in this struggle together out here. There is an us versus them mentality sometimes. but never at a street level. On social media, in the news, it's always us, and a lot of it goes back to race. I'm not going to dance around that in media and on social media. At a street level, it doesn't exist.
You think the media pumps that up?
Hell yeah, they do. Look, and I'll tell you why. You know, media makes their money from ad revenue. Ad revenue is driven by traffic, web traffic. And I run a few publisher sites. I know how that operates. Anything that generates controversy, gets people arguing in the comments, gets people sharing it, pissed off, texting it to mama, screenshotting it. That's how you make money in media. And so the news outlets, we've created a self-fulfilling prophecy, actually, because we're incapable of not engaging with things that we see online that piss us off. What we're doing when we engage with that is we're feeding the beast, and we're telling that news outlet, run more content like this because you're going to make more money.
Right. They look at the analytics, they're like, oh, that did great.
Yeah. And it's invariably, it's the things that get people fighting that generate the most revenue, which sucks because it makes everybody think we're all supposed to hate each other. But in reality, my buddy Scott, man, I love the way he pronounces this, the digitally represented world, not represented. Represented, because digital, you get it. I love the way he does that, and it's so true because we are being given a representation of reality.
Yeah,
political ideology will collapse on first contact with human suffering, and the more you get out on the streets and actually engage with other human beings who are suffering in the same fight you are, you're going to see that. Like she said, that is your typical Memphis interaction. People are just good people. They're not asking, white boy, why are you out here with a camera filming me? And my mom.
Yeah, right.
Like, they're just talking. Just people exist.
If anyone looks suspect, it's me. Right?
Or me.
Oh, wait, here we go. This is Graceland.
Yeah. So this is his airplane. They got a concert venue over here. This is his house.
That's Elvis's house. No way.
That is Elvis's house. Look at the quality of the road here.
Okay, so Elvis was living in the hood, but it wasn't the hood at that time.
Correct. This is working class neighborhood back then.
How you doing, man?
Seen y'all vlogs, so I want to get in it.
Yeah, what's going on in the hood? All good?
I ain't from the hood, I'm from the suburbs.
Do you love it?
It's okay.
It's cool? Race ya.
Turbo diesel.
Nice. Holy shit. This thing's got juice.
It does.
So we're at your warehouse.
Yeah, so this is our warehouse, and I don't want to steal Jess's thunder, so I'm going to let her give you the background on what it is today. I actually opened this place as a job skills training thing. We're going to teach vets and dudes coming off the streets woodworking. So we started up this brand making cutting boards. We had our Afghan daughter working in here. We had dope boys.
Afghan daughter?
Yeah, so we adopted a girl from Afghanistan during the collapse. We got her here.
Were you in the military?
Very briefly.
Okay.
But we did work the Afghan evacuation from 2021. We ran like 68 safe houses there.
No way.
Yeah, it was wild. So
That's a whole nother video.
That's a whole nother video, yeah.
Hood Mart.
Hood Mart, baby.
So essentially what you're seeing right here started in my towel closet when I was in active addiction. Ben's told you before that we had multiple businesses while we were getting high. So we had an addiction, but we also had a lot of money. And I've always wanted to just help people, like my entire life. So when I was in active addiction, in my towel closet, I would take a bunch of money. I would go get deodorant, shampoo, soaps, anything I could, and I'd have like a whole little Walmart in my towel closet. So when we went down to South Memphis, when we went to go see our drug buddies and the prostitutes that we were hanging out with, I would bring all of my stuff and just give it away. And then, we went homeless, we lost everything. So it's always been my dream to have a place that's like Goodwill, but nobody has to pay for anything, as stupid as that sounds. And that's what this place is. You're seeing all of this wood right here because when we first opened it, Ben's business partner, his name is Robert, he is a woodworking guy. He loves working with wood. He's very good at it. So we would have men that were unemployable. They had felonies, they couldn't get hired anywhere, they were just getting out of prison. We would bring them here and let them make cutting boards. And so they would get a skill, they would have a paycheck. That sense has you can only keep that going for so long. When the woodworking shop went away, this used to be all I had. All of it was donated. When you have nothing and you've been in the gutter and you've been homeless, and then you finally get better and you finally maybe get an apartment, but you have absolutely nothing to put in it and you have nothing for your kids, you almost want to go get high again. Like there's no hope. So this place is a place of hope. This is a place where kids can come pick out the toys they want, and mothers can get, and fathers can get shoes and clothes to go to the interview, to get the job, to keep the money coming in. And these are things that a lot of people don't think about. Normal people, they're like, go get some interview clothes, go get a job. Sometimes you don't have interview clothes and you don't have 2 pennies to go get them. You know, so this is, and like this even, some women have never had this. Some women have never been able to feel beautiful and to have clothes that they consider fancy. So that's another thing too. We have, I don't know if we have them anymore, but we used to have like prom dresses up here for girls that mama didn't have money to buy them a prom dress. That's a huge thing. So we try to have every single thing that anybody could ever want, and we just give it for free because we're not paying for it, and I'm not gonna make you pay for it.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Love what you're doing. Anything else you guys want to say?
Man, we covered a lot of ground today.
A lot of ground.
We didn't even get to see but half of it. We were pretty candid with you about some stuff, you know, some challenges that we're facing. But the takeaway, Peter, is that if we can't get the wraparound part of this right, all the ground we've gained is just going to be lost again. You know, we have to bring the education system back around. We have to bring things like re-entry, job skills training, economic opportunity, parenting classes. We got to shift the mentality, all right, in Memphis. And if we can't get all of that done, then what have we really accomplished? Like let me say that a different way. We've made some big impact in a lot of lives, and I don't want to take away from that. And if you ask them, we've changed their entire world, and that's a great thing. But I didn't set out to change one person's world. I set out to change an entire city. And to do that, I guess this is my way of acknowledging we still got a long way to go, and I got a lot to figure out.
All right, no, it's awesome, you guys. I can see it comes from a good place of passion and purpose.
For sure.
And guys, I want to let you know, We Fight Monsters, link is down below. They got a great website. If you guys want to be part of this.
Check our YouTube out too.
Check the YouTube out. They got all sorts of great content. If you feel like giving, that link is down below. Guys, thanks for that awesome day.
Peter, appreciate you.
It's a great window, and this is how we learn.
That's exactly right, brother.
Yeah. And thank you guys for coming along on that journey.
Thank y'all.
Until the next one.